Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Sports Medicine, offering services for sports injury and recovery, with physicians and athletic trainers who provide treatment for fractures, dislocations, sprains, strains, and other sports-related issues. More information on services at stalphonsus.org.
Boise State Public Radio, because of you.
In a way, NPR is kind of like the voice of the people, and Boise State Public Radio, it's public radio, so theoretically it means it's reflecting what people actually think, and how they want their stories to be told is really important, because you can't tell someone's story without their input. Unbiased news is really important. Boise State Public Radio and NPR do their best to be unbiased.
We do it because of you. Thank you for your support at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's daily news. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. The Boise City Council lowered the pride flag on Tuesday, and emotions were running very high. We have that story plus tighter restrictions from the legislature on Medicaid. It is April 1st. Here we go with today's stories. At the Capitol, House lawmakers could soon consider allowing people to carry guns in parts of county courthouses. James Dawson has this update.
The bill is aimed at county facilities that have combined administrative offices and courtrooms. It would still ban guns from courtrooms and detention areas, but allow them elsewhere. Republican Representative Kyle Harris from Lewiston sponsors the measure. He says the newly renovated Nez Perce County Courthouse blocks him from carrying a gun to take care of everyday business.
I just not have to disarm myself to walk in, to pay my taxes, to register to vote, to talk to my county commissioners.
Ada County Clerk Trent Triple says his county saved millions of dollars by combining administration and court operations in their current facility that opened in 2002. He called the atmosphere an emotional powder keg that could turn dangerous if people were allowed to bring in firearms even outside of courtrooms.
People are being incarcerated while family members watch. People are being fined. Parents are potentially losing custody of their kids. Ex-spouses are battling over livelihoods. All of those folks are interacting with my employees at the front counter and in the hallways before and after court.
The measure is headed to the House floor for possible amendments to better define exempt parts of the courthouse. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
Governor Brett Little signed House Bill 561 into law yesterday, the bill that targets the pride flag flying outside of Boise City Hall. To be more specific, the flag that used to fly there. Indeed, the measure talks about general flags that weren't official before a certain date, but it does impact the pride flag most of all. Boise City officials, by state law, were prompted to lower the pride flag on Tuesday.
And today in particular, I know it is a sad day, a tough day for many people that call Boise home. And regardless of what is happening outside of our city limits, I want you to know that I remain day in, day out committed to being a safe and welcoming city.
Boise Mayor Lauren McLean, who also yesterday signed a proclamation marking the National Trans Day of Visibility.
A proclamation can only go so far because it's just words on paper followed by a signature. It is the actions I would encourage you to look for, watch, and acknowledge of your friends, your neighbors, the people that call this place home, that join us in common cause.
And then the Boise City Council.
For many folks, it is the visibility of your humanity, of your right to love, your right to experience hope, your right to experience joy, and your right to experience safety.
We feel bombarded right now, whether it's a Supreme Court decision, whether it's a new action by the state legislature, whether it's a pronouncement from this presidential administration. It feels like an onslaught because that's exactly what it is.
It's hard today. In Idaho, this isn't the Idaho I grew up in. People are under attack. This legislation that's coming out seems mean, spiteful. We will continue to fight, and I stand with the council up here in that. I know we all stand with that together, and I also urge every resident who's feeling frustrated to hang their own flag and support each other, listen to each other's stories, show up for each other. We're all neighbors.
I think that one of the things state leadership lacks is connection to the real lives that are impacted by legislation like this.
And there were Boise Council members Jimmy Halliburton, Colin Nash, Kathy Corliss, Meredith Stead, and Jordan Morales. Trans Day of Visibility events took place across Idaho yesterday afternoon. A few hours later, Governor Brad Little signed into law a bill criminalizing trans people for using bathrooms that do not match their birth sex. Jamie Geary reports.
Roughly 200 people showed up on the Idaho Capitol steps on Tuesday afternoon in support of the community.
What do we want? Trans rights! When do we want it? Now!
The Trans Pride gathering took place hours before Little signed Bill 752, a law that targets trans people for, quote, willfully using their preferred bathrooms or locker rooms. Penalties include potential felony charges and jail time. At the Capitol, Nixon Matthews spoke against the law, saying it was important to publicly show support for the trans community.
Especially in front of this building, when year after year they continue to bring bills that try to remove us from public space and remove us from our public lives.
Speaking to the attendees, Matthews said the rally shows trans people are part of Idaho, despite the state's many anti-trans legislation.
We live to find joy, to connect, to create a world where we can exist as our fullest and truest selves. And when the system fails us, and it will continue to do so, we take care of each other.
Blue, pink, and white lights projected the trans pride flag on City Hall that evening. Jamie Geary, Boise State Public Radio News.
It will be up to Governor Brad Little to decide whether people will have to prove they've been working for at least 3 months to qualify for health coverage under Medicaid expansion. State senators easily passed the bill Tuesday afternoon. Federal law allows states to choose a work history look back between 1 and 3 months on top of re-verifying eligibility every 6 months. Republican Senator Julie Van Orden sponsors the bill.
We want to make sure that somebody just doesn't go out and get a job 2 weeks or 3 weeks before they apply.
Senate Democratic leader Melissa Wintrow says she believes the proposal is a bit more nefarious than supporters led on.
This bill is an attempt to do a backdoor repeal of Medicaid expansion.
Wintrow said the longer look-back period would cause administrative errors and falsely disqualify eligible people. The bill already passed the House and now is heading to the governor's desk. Renters may be feeling some relief as the costs across our region are dropping. It turns out that there's a building boom. Yet at the same time, home ownership remains out of reach for way too many people. Yvette Fernandez reports.
The median price for a new lease is down 1.5% from a year ago across the country. But in some Mountain West states, the decline in cost to renters is much stronger. Rob Warnock is a lead economic researcher with Apartment List, which is behind the study.
5% year-over-year rent declines in Denver. We've got around 4 to 5% through a lot of Arizona. Salt Lake City, prices are down 2.5%. Las Vegas, 3.5%. Boise, prices are down there about a percentage point year over year.
While this is good news for renters, Warnock says rents are still higher than they were before the COVID pandemic 6 years ago. Still, Warnock says the supply-demand equation in the marketplace gives a small edge to renters looking for a deal. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Yvette Fernandez.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. Say the Supreme Court this morning is hearing oral arguments in the case known as Trump versus Barbara, which challenges the executive order limiting birthright citizenship. We are carrying the audio on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org, where you always find breaking news. In the meantime, I'll be back here tomorrow with The Connector. I hope you will too. Thanks for listening.
If you like podcasts like this, explore more from the Boise State Public Radio podcast family. There you'll find a mix of daily news, Idaho Voices, and in-depth series on a wide range of topics. I'm talking wild horses, political scandals, sustainable ranching, and militia groups in a post-January 6th world. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search Boise State Public Radio to find what Idaho's NPR station has in store for you.